Joining me now is John Potter, who's the CEO of Visionstate. And John, correct me if I'm wrong, but Visionstate is a tech company focused on the Internet of Things, kind of cool overall. But you've got a product out there called WANDA. And as I understand it, it started with restrooms in a mall. Am I correct?
That is correct, Pat. It originally was focused on trying to provide the data that would be defensible in slip and fall injuries, believe it or not. COVID changed everything, obviously, because it really put a focus on the entire facility and the need to have a digitalized process in place whereby managers, facility managers, property owners could monitor exactly what's going on in terms of their maintenance and cleaning activities and get data-driven analytics to make their decisions. So this has really exploded since COVID. And we now don't just do restrooms, but we do full facilities like universities, hospitals, airports, that type of thing.
You mentioned universities, and so you've moved into kind of scheduling and operations. Queen's University, I think I saw it recently, has engaged Bunzl Cleaning and Hygiene to implement WandaNEXT, digital cleaning management software, is the way the headline went. And students literally are using QR codes to give feedback, if you will. How does that all work?
Well, I think Queens was really motivated by the fact that they wanted to create a healthy environment for their students, parents, teachers, and the rest of it. The only really way to do that is to provide the tools that enable them to provide that feedback. So we put QR codes throughout a facility. The cleaning or maintenance staff will scan that code. They'll have a list of activities that they have to perform in that area. They'll enter that information. But at the same time, the same QR code can be used by a student, a parent, or a member of the public. They simply scan the code and they can provide their feedback. We gather this feedback and then analyze it for trends and identifying any other potential deficiencies in the service delivery.
Yeah, I went there 45 years ago. We sure didn't have that in those days, so that's a grand improvement. I also saw an announcement, a collaboration with an AI company called Alberta Machine Intelligence Institute, and they're going to implement machine learning. How does that work within Visionstate?
Well, that's a really good question, Pat. So obviously, since we evolved from restrooms, we've had to scale up our software significantly, right? So, whereas before we would be tracking maybe 10 items, now we're tracking thousands of items across a university campus and several universities. So we've had to scale up. Now we're using a much bigger data set than they were before, which is where AI comes in. And I think Queens is significant in its endorsement for a couple of reasons. First of all, because it's no longer a risk. We were by far way ahead of the market in what we were doing. And the fact that this is our first major public endorsement of our software demonstrates the de-risking of it. It also demonstrates the fact that the movement now is toward full digitalization of everything. So in the facility management sector, there's a couple pain points that we've identified, scheduling being one of them, resource optimization. And resource optimization is critical in today's day and age where commodities are going up in price. So we've identified specific areas where we want to apply the artificial intelligence to optimize those schedules so that, for example, a cleaning staff isn't just going out the way they used to and attending a bunch of different locations to clean, the AI will actually plot this out in an optimized way, and the resource side of things. So it's actually a very logical evolution of our software. And, at the end of the day, people talk a lot about AI, but a lot of it is not real yet, right? There's huge potential for this, but how it's applied is really what the key is. And that's what Visionstate's doing with this project. And we partnered with a world leader in this area in order to execute on it.
Okay. But it seems to me, and you've had great success, obviously, in universities and in Canada. How do you expand beyond into other industries? I'm thinking maybe hotels and restaurants and those kinds of things, and geography beyond Canada.
Yeah, great question. So, number one, our partner, Bunzl Cleaning Hygiene, is actually part of a much larger global company that's based in London, England. And they've identified, data and analytics as being an integral part of their future, and they partnered with us in order to do it. So and they're a big company that's been around since 1855, a little bit on the conservative side. They wanted to see that we could deliver what we promised. And so Canada was the test ground. Now you've got a major university endorsing it. And in fact, we're in several universities and going to be in many more in the near future. So that's built the confidence in their global team to start really aggressively marketing and deploying WANDA globally. And you're going to see some developments along those lines very, very, very shortly. So we're very excited about that. And as the world embraces this type of technology, we have the right partners and the right technology to execute on it.
Is that an exclusive partnership, or are there other partnerships in different areas that you could move into? For instance, a partnership in the industrial area, cleaning equipment.
Yeah. So, and in fact, we are doing that, Pat. Like one of the major products that a company like Bunzl sells, for example, is cleaning robots, right? And those all produce data. So, WANDA ultimately is going to become the platform to collect all this data into one central, database, if you like, because that's what the customers want. And that also helps Bunzl sell those robots if they're getting the right data back in terms of the performance and the usage and all the rest of it, which again is where AI and machine learning play in, because if you have the history of the maintenance and the performance of that robotic device, you can make future predictions in terms of its performance. So the applicability of the AI and what we're doing is definitely across industries. When I talk about schedule optimization, that could be as an AI model, right? So think of an AI model as sort of like an application. That could actually be applied to anything that touches scheduling, whether it's logistics or even airports for that matter. So we're really excited about this project, and it has implications definitely beyond facility management, which is really exciting.
Is it ever? Let's talk about, John, the bottom line, if we could, in the finances. By partnering it, does it alleviate some of the pressures of having to raise financing? How are you financially?
Great question. So that is government finance as well. There was a really sort of three key things that I needed to check off with regard to the AI development. In particular, one was, can we get government funding? Yes, we can. Do we own the IP 100%? Yes, we do. And is it a marketable product at the end? Yes, it is. So meanwhile, with the WANDA platform that we have, we're already deploying it throughout Canada. I think If you look at our first quarter results, you'll see a significant improvement from last year. We're going to have our second quarter results out shortly. They're going to show a very similar trend, where our revenue's gone up significantly and our costs have actually gone down significantly. So in terms of our capital situation, we've raised some capital. We have a financing going on that we expect to close shortly. But in essence, we're no longer funding losses, we're funding growth and technology, which is significant for Visionstate.
I look forward to hearing those results, John. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Pat. I appreciate your time. Have a great day.